Hello everyone, I'm Ronald Mehta and welcome back to marketing91.com. We provide management and marketing training to students and professionals worldwide through our courses, videos and community. This video is part of our comprehensive take on the gamut of human resource management. Let's take a stab at the gamut of unemployment. A phrase used to describe people that are already job ready and are also proactively looking for employment but are having trouble doing so is known as unemployment. What does unemployment mean? Unemployment is one of the key measures of a nation's fiscal health and is typically expressed as the unemployment rate. The unemployment rate would be calculated by dividing the total of jobless person by the number of individuals in the labor force. Unemployment by country 2023. South Africa is one of the countries with the highest unemployment rate, where on the other end, Qatar is one of the countries with the lowest unemployment rate in the world. Moving on to the various forms of unemployment. First, demand-deficient unemployment. The main factor behind unemployment that frequently occurs during a recession is a demand shortfall. When there is less demand for an organization's goods or services, the company will adapt by reducing its output, necessitating a decrease in employees. In light of this fact, employees are let go. Next is a frictional unemployment. When a person is in between job roles, they are considered to be in a frictional unemployment situation. An illustration of this would be a person who recently left their job or was dismissed and is seeking employment in the market that has not been going through a recession. Since employees are often looking for employment that best suits their talent, this is not a bad thing. At number 3 is structural unemployment. Whenever an employee's set of skills falls short of what is required by the positions that are open, structural unemployment ensues. Conversely, it can also arise when employees are accessible but lack the means to get to where the jobs are located. For instance, an employee must need to get to India for a teaching position, but owing to visa constraints, they are unable to obtain a work visa. At number 4 is voluntary unemployment. An employee who chooses to quit their position due to it being no longer financially beneficial is said to be experiencing voluntary unemployment. Another scenario would be an employee for whom the take-home wage is lower than their cost of living, or in case even when an employee takes a sabbatical, that would ideally mean a voluntary unemployment. Moving on to factors affecting unemployment, and the first being the sizable population that puts a strain on the economy. Moving further, complicated legal issues, insufficient government assistance to small firms, coupled with weak market financial and infrastructure links to smaller firms, render those companies unprofitable and subject to cost and compliance overruns, which leads to unemployment. The manufacturing sector's investment levels are minimal and infrastructure development is lacking, which limits the secondary sector's ability to recruit more people. Now moving on to the impact of unemployment. The effects of unemployment can sometimes be experienced within both the workforce and economic growth of the country, and they can have a ripple effect. People who are unemployed experience monetary difficulty, which has an effect on their families, interpersonal connections, and communities. When it occurs, consumer spending, a factor that is among the main forces behind economic development, declines, which, if allowed unchecked, can result in a recession or even worse, a depression. As a byproduct of unemployment, reduction in demand, consumption, and purchasing power diminishes a firm's profitability. This in turn requires funding cuts and a drop in personnel, leading to unemployment. Due to lack of any kind of intervention, it sets up an endless loop that seems to be hard to break. Next, what is long-term unemployment? Long-term unemployment is defined as being without a job for more than 27 weeks, even if the person had looked for work in the previous 4 weeks. Because of obvious factors, its impacts are far more harsher than those of temporary unemployment, which is of a lesser duration. Now, how do you tackle the issue of unemployment? First, a shift in your industrial methodology. The nation's demands and resources should be taken into consideration while choosing production methods. It is imperative to promote labor-intensive technology instead of capital-intensive technology. Next, modification to the educational mechanism in your country. The way that the education is delivered has to be radically altered. Admission to universities and colleges needs to be prioritized for students who show an interest in advanced coursework. The importance of vocational education must be emphasized. Engineers that are qualified should launch their own small businesses or startups in the tech domain. Next, the growth of employment exchanges. It is necessary to create more employment exchanges. The general public should be informed about employment opportunities throughout the country through such exchanges. Next, providing self-employed person with further support. In Asian countries such as India, the majority of individuals work for themselves. They work in small businesses, cottage industries, trading and agriculture, among other things. Therefore, financial assistance should be given to these people along with raw supplies and technical instructions. Next, decentralization of your industrial activity. The industrial sector must be decentralized if unemployment is to be decreased. The number of job prospects in underdeveloped areas will decrease if industrial operations are actually concentrated in such locations. In order to promote the decentralization of economic activity, the government should implement such measures. Next, giving job training initiatives more poundage. The relevance of personnel should indeed be increased in 5-year plans of any country. People may have greater employment opportunities thanks to programs in agriculture, irrigation, flood control, roads, power, and rural electrification. Thus, training in this direction is important. And finally, control of population. In the interest of tackling the unemployment issue, population growth needs to be restrained. Widespread and efficient implementation of family planning programs is necessary to tackle unemployment in the future. So that's it, folks. This brings an end to the gamut of unemployment. These are the list of sources and links referred to for our content in the video. Thank you and stay tuned for more videos.